Good evening, Jedi Knights. It is no longer May the 4th, but we are still celebrating Star Wars. As you can see from my poster in the back, this is the way. So guys, hello there. We have some pretty great, fantastic news to talk about today, being that we are going to talk about the Bad Batch season premiere that aired on May the 4th. So without further ado, May Revenge of the 5th begin. Hello there everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're here to talk about the Bad Batch. I'm going to give my review. This will be a full spoiler review. It's gonna be awesome, guys. We're gonna get into all the nitty-gritty details. Yeah, Blue Edge is much better with this, right? Okay, guys. So, without further ado, the Bad Batch. Now, some people haven't waited for this content, but we've been doing a lot of Marvel content on this channel, and it's been fun, and I love Marvel, and there's been some cool stuff. But now, we're talking about Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. And you know I love Star Wars, so this is great. So guys, the Bad Batch picks off. Literally, we get the typical Clone Wars logo, and it fades out. Like, we get that beautiful red Clone Wars logo, and then it fades out to the Bad Batch. Being like, oh, no, you thought this was Clone Wars Season 8? No. This is something entirely different. A brand new show following the events of Order 66. Which is just awesome to see that we're getting. So, from the get-go, we get the normal Clone Wars narration. And you see Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on Grievous's ship, rescuing the Chancellor. Great animation-looking Anakin and Obi-Wan, straight out of Revenge of the Sith. Super cool. We saw a little bit of that at the end of Clone Wars, but it was still Clone Wars Anakin and Obi-Wan. It didn't feel like full Revenge of the Sith yet, where this definitely feels like full Revenge of the Sith. It's so cool, guys. So you get to see full Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan. Super cool. And then we get the big reveal. And we pick up, we're on a mission. We see Jedi Master Belova from Phantom Menace, who all of a sudden her Padawan revealed to be Caleb Dune, aka Young Kanan, who we saw in a brief hologram sequence in the Clone Wars final arc. So that was really cool. But here we're seeing something crazy. Battle's going down. There's a new clone commander from the canon comics, as in Commander Grey, and so they're getting gunned down by these separatist forces, and Caleb comes in to tell them that look, where's Caleb with reinforcements? Oh, I brought reinforcements. Like, how many of them? And you don't know, and that's because the Bad Batch shows up doing what they do, taking out fools. And then they send Caleb off on a mission with them. But as they turn around, Palpatine hops up on the hologram. Execute Order 66. And then Caleb watches as his old master is fighting all of her clone troops. And she's gunned down. So then he has distrust with the Bad Batch. They're supposed to be his friends. And so that doesn't go very well. So they follow him through the woods. But Crosshairs takes a couple shots at him, which we'll get into later in the episode, because we revealed that Crosshairs is the only member of the Bad Batch that actually has his inhibitor chip active. So he keeps trying to kill the kid. Hunter keeps trying to stop him, trying to talk to him privately. It's a big deal. And so then we get into pretty much the really good stuff. We go back to Kamino, and we see this is at the point of the Revenge of the Sith timeline, where we see that basically the orders have been given out. The Republic is now the Empire. And so all the clones have been stripped of their colors, and there are the Coruscant Guard, which are wearing the red. But all the clone troopers are now more like stormtroopers with all white gear. So that's kind of a pretty big deal, as their brothers have all kind of been reverted to the beginning. But Tarkin comes to kind of basically perceive to people that does the Empire need clones? We can just get regular soldiers and for less money, basically. Because the Empire, they want to put all that money towards the Death Star. They don't care about what it costs. They want to put all that money so they can build their Death Star perfectly. Because we're at that point in the timeline. So it's perfect. But that just doesn't go the way that he wants it. So then he tries to test and he evaluates the clones. But before the evaluation, there's this new clone known as Omega, who is a female clone. And she bonds to the Bad Batch, but the regular clones make fun of the Bad Batch, so it leads to a kitchen fight. And they think that they're all getting in trouble for the kitchen fight when all the clones are being evaluated. But instead, they're being sent on a field evaluation to go test their limits. So we see a prototype version of the Bad Batch stuff, and on the prototype version of these Dark Troopers, they basically Tarkin tries live rounds because he wants to see the limits of these soldiers, and he's impressed by them, but he sees that they're disobedient, and that won't serve the Empire well. So then he decides, after he sees them in action, he asks how many of these individuals are there, and the Kaminoans tell him that there's 5. But we are often questioned who is the 5th member of the Bad Batch. That is enhanced, as we know of. So then, Tarkin sends the Bad Batch to Onderon, as we know from the Clone Wars, to go take out some separatists. So the Bad Batch think they're here to kill droids. But they get there, and it's a squad of Republic fighters leading into their first rebellion. And that squad... And that squad is revealed to be led by Saw Gerrera. So pretty cool surprise. And the Bad Batch interact with him and realize that they're on the wrong mission after they've been captured by Saw. So Hunter decides as the leader, because this show is essentially Star Wars' Ninja Turtles. So you got Hunter is Leonardo, Wrecker is Raphael, Donatello is Tech, and Echo's Michelangelo. So we get this debate where Crosshairs doesn't want to go with any of Hunter's orders. First, he lets the Jedi Padawan go, doesn't kill him, even though it's his orders, because Crosshairs really believes in what the Empire is, where the rest of the Bad Batch couldn't care less. So that's a big thing. So then we go back to the mission after taking out the Empire Imperial probe droid. We go back, we're summoned back, and we get there, and it's a trap, and all the Bad Batch members are thrown in the brig, because we're only going back to save Omega, because we find out that Omega is the 5th member who was an enhanced mutated clone. So now we're kind of dealing with, this is TMNT meets kind of an X-Men situation. So we go back to see, to get Omega, and she's locked in a cell with all the members of the Bad Batch. But then, as everything is going the way it is, they're in the cell. Omega goes up to Crosshairs and says, "I know what you're gonna do, but don't do it. It's not worth it." And so we get this first sense that not only is she enhanced, but Omega might also possibly be Force sensitive. So this is a pretty cool potential reveal, something we weren't expecting, and so that's really cool. And so then Crosshairs is summoned by the Empire. Tarkin wants to do an experiment on him, so they check his brain, do a brain scan, and they find the inhibitor chip. And they find out it's active, but it's because the Bad Batch are different from the regular clones, it hasn't activated to the degree that they would like it to be at. So then they intensify it, and they go to find Crosshairs, because, that's their brother when they break out of the cell, everyone. After they take out their brothers by using the traditional A New Hope stun gun type tactic with the blasters, because they don't want to hurt their brothers. So then, they get to the platform, they're reunited with Omega, and they're waiting to get Crosshairs, but Crosshairs meets them in the platform in all decked out new Imperial gear with his new unit of stormtroopers, and he tries to kill his own brothers. And it's not until Omega literally saves, after Wrecker gets shot and could nearly die, we get an amazing shot from Omega literally shooting Crosshairs with a normal clone blaster. So we're all like, how is her accuracy that good? And it's crazy good. So she did a crazy good job with her accuracy, and it's awesome. And now we all leave on the shuttle. And Hunter says we're headed to J-19, Sector J-19, which will lead us to our next episode, which will set up Cutler Clane and maybe even seeing Rex. So if you don't remember him from the Clone Wars, he was the clone deserter. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to give The Bad Batch a 9.8 out of 10. This was a near-perfect episode, a great premiere, and as a Star Wars fan, I was satisfied, and I love this episode. It's great. It shows us that Star Wars in animation can still be done right and still be awesome. I hope you enjoyed my my review, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you.